Greetings, fellow Empyreans. I am Ashtarothi, the voice of New Eden, and it is Friday, March 10th, YC 125, and this is the Eve Universe Show. Welcome, 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 guys. How you guys doing? So, we have a couple of... Okay, so today... okay, I've done a lot more streaming recently, and I've made some really good stuff that needs to be edited down. So I was wanting to... I've torn today between editing and streaming. I was chatting with my supporters in the supporters chat on the Discord, which, by the way, if you want to be in that Discord, you just have to support me on Twitch, or not Twitch, on YouTube or Patreon. And if for some reason you are that way and you haven't gotten the access to that channel, please let me know. But either way, short story short, I just asked them like what was going on and all sorts. We were having. I was like, should I do that? You know, and then I realized that because the free for all is tomorrow, I really wanted to talk about that since I haven't talked about that coming up quite enough. So I reached out to Rix, and my idea was like, okay, well, if we can chat with Rix, then that's worth doing. Like that's a stream. Whereas right now we're kind of still in a holding pattern. I do have a fun little thing to check out too. But mostly I just wanted to go live to talk to you guys about the free-for-all coming up tomorrow and other things about what we should be preparing for or what we can be getting involved with over the weekend. So, first and foremost, before any of that, here's my new experiment, okay? So it's kind of emerged that there are two really, really good ways for a newer person or, you know, whatever. Like, in faction warfare, ISK is, or like LP is good. There's tons of it, and it's worth a lot of money. But to be 100% honest, the number one concern is how to liquidate it, right? Like that's always the tricky part. It's fine and dandy to be able to say, oh well, I've got 7 billion ISK worth of LP, but like it could take a long time to liquidate that without crashing markets, so. The point is that, and the other problem is that a lot of people who join faction warfare don't have that much starter money or like extra money in order to start the process of turning in LP. So the point of the matter is that sometimes it's just valuable to get stuff that's worth cash, right? And so here is a new tool I've come up with. I understand it's not exactly new bro friendly because this is my version of it. I want it. And it's great. And I think you could probably make a Venturation one like this. But the idea behind this is that this one ship can do two tasks. First, it does any of the Caldari command points. It can scan the cans and it can hack the cans to get the splices and the decryptors. But in the event that a gas site is discovered, we can actually drop a mobile depot to swap the probe scanner out for a second gas cloud scoop and then go and harvest the gas. Okay? So that is the plan. We'll see if it's any good. For the low slots, I mean, I struggled to figure out what I wanted to do with this. The big concern with this ship is obviously its cargo space, right? The mobile depot is a dump can. It could be, yeah, if it could be. But the thing is that like splices aren't very big, and decoders packages aren't very big, and so and of course gas goes into the mining hold. I'm reasonably sure. So all of that combined means that this thing, like, yeah, it takes up a third of its cargo, but that still gives you plenty of room for the most expensive parts. Since when what? I don't know shit about gas cuffing. Am I fundamentally wrong about that? And I just swore within the first 8 minutes. Oh, YouTube's gonna hurt me. Technically 12. Haha. Since when for what? It take up 50? Gas goes in the ore hold. Sweet. All right, great. All right, so this should theoretically work. But the thing is that, like, I do want nice cargo space for any sort of stuff I might get while I'm out there hacking. You know, maybe I'll find some of the cap parts in ghost sites, or maybe I'll just run a normal data site and pick up some keys or data cores or whatever, right? Obviously, I don't have a ton of space. I only have about 100 M3 worth of space. And so that's actually why I originally was going to go with an overdrive injector unit or reinforced bulkheads. Two different ideas on the same theme, but like speed and hardening them a little bit, because I had to drop the... this build is actually based on the Blitzen build from the winter event. And I just dropped the shield extender for the cargo cargo scanner, and changed it out to one gas scoop and one probe launcher as a starting base. But then I needed to figure out the low slots, and like I was torn between trying to tank it out and, you know, or do something useful with it. Unfortunately, overdrive injector units and inertial stabilizers, I think it is. No, that's the inertial stabilizers. Overdrive bulkheads. Both of those things have the side effect of lowering your cargo space. So instead, I just decided to go for raw speed. So here we have because of course, like the hacking sites and the gas sites are, you know, often pretty big. So at this point, this is going to be one of those ships that if you get caught, you're dead, right? But don't get caught. Is it okay to join your stream and spam you with questions that are only useful to me? Here's my thing about that. I always say that no matter what question you have in your mind, there's at least 2 other people in the audience that could really use that information, but either doesn't even know to ask or not, you know, doesn't have the chutzpah to. So questions are great. I may deflect it if it's too niche, or refer you to message me later. But yeah, absolutely. So, what was it? Was there anything else I was going to go to talk about when I went live today? I can't remember. Let's see. So, use the low slots for a line time reduction for not getting caught. So I tried to do that, but here's the thing about that. Like, first of all, this gets you down to 2.39. You're not going to make it sub 2 second without sacrificing like everything. So at this point, this is as good as any other configuration of this stuff. I just am not as fast. The big thing is that like I go 35.24. Hey, thanks, Black Moon. Cold. 49.95 hot. We might eventually deflect one of my questions. Well, you know, not everybody gets everything they want, right? All right, so let's talk a little bit about the Frigate free-for-all tomorrow. So for Lordy, almost... What annual is this even? Hold on. Oh yeah, there is a cheap implant on agility. That's fine. Does he say? Maybe we'll just ask him. He's been doing this for like near a decade. I know that. So what they've done is in Oileta, which is in the war zone, they have like 1,500 ships, frigates and destroyers, fully fed up and ready to go for you to help blow up on tomorrow. Okay? So there's going to be lots of cool stuff. There's prizes, people jumping caps. I've seen some wild and crazy shit. I think last year, didn't Chance drop his Marshal into Oileta last year? I think that's true. I mean, it's one of those things that like gets marked on the map. You can go look at any statistics for, is it 9? Yeah, it's near a decade. Ha! That's how on point I was. That's right. So, yeah, I will say this right now. The one thing that's kind of disappointing, and it disappoints me too, is that because of the lockout rule, it's very hard for Caldari people to use the system, because it used to be that as long as you still had like a station or whatever, you could still dock there. But now you can't. And Oileta's right here. So you could theoretically reship in Jafit and then go back to Oileta. But it's not the same as like just being able to reship in Oileta. So what I'm trying, this is all just a long way of saying that you've joined the wrong team, and you should come to Gal Mill so that way you can participate in the free-for-all tomorrow. It's just that simple. So I mean, like it's real simple. Once you show up, or once you go there, there's going to be thousands of people there. It's a big thing. Like I said, it's one of the bigger events of the year in game. And you just dock up in any of the 3 stations, and there'll be somebody that just hands you a ship, and you just accept it, and then you go out there and start fighting, and you just keep on doing it, keep on doing it. You die. I would recommend making sure to put your home station as one of the 3 stations, so that way, you know, whatever. If you get potted, you'll end up in your home station. Also, if you're, for whatever reason, going to bring your own little fun toy, I'd recommend staging it like yesterday, but second best would be today. You're not going to want to touch Oileta tomorrow outside of, you know, whatever it is that you plan on blowing up. So there should be plenty of fun times to be had. They are very big. Obviously, the snuff blowing up their Asterhus was unfortunate, but Rix is nothing if not tenacious, and so the show must go on. Yeah. I was just going to ask whether or not he knows how much longer he's going to be. He was, I mean, like, I literally just messaged him today, so if he's not able to do it, that's more on me than anybody. But it sure would be cool to sit down and talk to him again about several things. So, is there any other news? I feel like there was something from last night that I was talking about. Oh, I know what I can do. I'm going to do my PI. Haha! So I'm going to undock. Now, hold on a second. Wait, hold up. There's a new world news like today? How do you get involved with the frigate free-for-all? You just go to Oileta tomorrow at the right time. Oh, boy. All right, let's read this one. Okay. Oh, sorry. Well then, let's shift gears slightly. Why did nobody in my supporter chat say mention this? I blame all of you. And by that I mean all of you that aren't in my supporters chat to be there to tell me. I'm kidding. What is happening? There we go. I feel like they changed the way that OBS works. Do you think that we will get Navy or T2 ships or pirate faction ships? Wait, what? For what? I think that, for pirate faction ships. Well, Navy and pirate are two different things. That's like saying, are we going to get T2, T3 ships? But are we going to get pirate faction ship lines with T2? It's possible, but they're so fundamentally different because, like, the thing that defines the types of ships is how the skills interact with it, right? In the case of a normal T1 and Navy faction, there's one skill that interacts with it. That one ship skill, Gallente cruiser, Amar frigate, whichever it happens to be. And a pirate ship has two T1 skills that contribute to it, whereas a T2 has two skills, but it is the racial to 5 and the T2 skill itself. So I don't know why. Like, if there's a T2 Garmer, why would there still be a Garmer? Like, the point of T1 and T2 isn't the fact that it is supplanted. It's that, well, right, but the Triglavians are closer to an empire than a pirate. Because once again, the Triglavians, their base ships only have one skill that it interacts with. The Triglavian frigate, Triglavian destroyer skill. So like every other T2 skill, it follows the rules, which is if you get it to T2, you have to have the base race to 5 and the T2 skill. So that's how to do it. The other thing about that is that the Triglavian ships, T2 Garmer equals the Raiju. That's very possible. That's a good point. T2 ships are... the T2 Triglavian ships are developed by the empires. They are an example of the empire's reverse engineering Triglavian technology. So, I don't know. I think that the pirates would just come out with more ships. I think that we should see a pirate battlecruiser and cruiser, or destroyer, for example. I think that if you did the T2 Garmer, it would just simply be an interceptor. So that way it gains the ability to be warp bubble immune. However, even then, like, how would you do that? Do you have... So now you have a ship with 3 skills that are all contributing something to it. Because you've got, oh God, what does more do? Why couldn't you guys pick an easy one? My brain is falling out. It would be really cool. That's a good one. That's a good one, lazy one. I could see that. I could see a series of pirate Triglavians ships where it is... Wait, no, because pirates already have the 2 skills. I would like to see like 4 different versions of pirate ships that are like Triglavians and Caldari, Triglavian and Gallente, Triglavian and Mar, Triglavian and Minmatar. That'd be kind of interesting. But so Mordu Legion has Caldari and Gallente. So if this was also an interceptor, then it would actually have 3 different skills applying to it. Let's see what happens. Is there alternatives? Does it not? No, it doesn't even list the Raiju as like an alternate, right? Yeah, I don't. That's the tricky part about the pirates, though, is that like, oh shit, I'm not even showing it. See you've got the Caldari and Gallente, so this already has two skills that affect it. T2 likewise has skills that affect it, right? Two skills. Now the T3 has a bunch of skills that, but those are dedicated just for that, right? The most skills a normal ship gets, and the reason why I bring this up is because that is basically one of the biggest reasons why pirate ships are so strong, is the fact that they get two ship bonuses, which are the biggest kind of bonus there is. Mordu is a contractor for Caldari, right? Don't have enough money or reason to improve their ship line. Well, I mean, their ship line is extremely effective, right? The AT prize ships do get bonuses from 3 skills, which greatly contributes to their OP-ness. There you go. See? There you go. Done. Mimitar Caldari. Mimitar Caldari is the correct last remaining combo. All right. Let us... Let us get ready. So if I wanted a better Garmer, I got to get a Raiju. Dude. Okay. This is going to come off as mean, but it legitimately is not, because I have no idea, like, your actual piloting. But I would suggest that if you want a stronger Garmer, or a better Garmer, you just need to get better at Garmer. Right? Like, the Garmer in the right hands is absolutely devastating. The idea of a T2 Garmer, just like taking a step back, is pretty wild. Yes, please don't get a Raiju and fly. No, I mean, like, the Garmer, the thing that gets the Garmer strong is, well, yeah, okay. Let's just put it this way. The Garmer is already a top tier class. A Garmer is already very scary for almost every, even the T2 frigates, right? Yeah. So the biggest advantage of the Garmer, here, every pirate ship gets gets a cheat. That's the other thing that makes them so OP. So the Garmer's cheat, or the Mortis Legion's cheat, is their bonus, the 50% bonus to Warp Scrambler and Warp Disruptor maximum range. Like, that bonus is monumental. What does this mean? It means that, like, if I open up a fitting tool and I go here, I can put this in here. And now I can go scram. And I can go 5MN. And without doing anything else, I now am going 3,800 cold. And I'm scramming out to 14 kilometers. Overheated, it's out to 16 kilometers. What does this mean? This means that you can sit at 13 kilometers and have them scrammed, and they cannot have you scrammed. So, if they have and they can't have you webbed really either, unless they blinged out their web. So, you have your micro warp drive. They do not have their micro warp drive. If they have an afterburner, they're slower than you. And projecting out to 13 kilometers is relatively difficult for most ships in a frigate range. And anything that can reach out that far is going to have a really hard time tracking this fast little mother trucker. Does that make sense? That's how the Garmer works. Yeah, and that's with a non-blingy scram. You bling out that scram, it gets kind of silly real fast. This thing starts at 16 and goes to 19. A 19 kilometers overheated scram is pretty wild. You could even go with a warp disruptor and light missiles, and now you can pin somebody at like 40. Yeah, 36 to 43. So either way, Garmers are going to be nasty. Now, the biggest things that you're going to have a problem with are things that can... well, this falls under the category of the if you can catch me, I can kill you sort of thing, right? Where the goal here is that you dart off and, you know, the fleet is generally speaking too slow to come after you. But you dance around the fleet, causing their tackle to try to come after you. And all their tackle is A, usually in cheap stuff, and B, usually newer players. Because the experienced players are in the bigger, clunkier, more advanced ships, and, you know, they have the new bros doing suicide tackle. So as long as that's true, you can basically dance around them and kill off anybody who makes it to you. The biggest threat, honestly, my big counter for these Garmers is actually the Algos. So if we look at the Algos, we'll see that inside of the Algos, this guy goes 7,875 meters per second. Now, that's way faster than you. It does need to slow down in order to fire at you. So it's pretty, like, a Garmer can still dance around warriors most of the time. But the issue is every single turn you make, every single adjustment you make, those warriors will be taking a bite out of you. Every piloting change is going to cost you. And so while I don't necessarily kill a bunch of Garmers with this ship, this is one of the few ships that I found that can both fight on a normal basis and also at least scare off them Garmers. It's one of the reasons why I really like it. Okay. Yep, Rick's is saying that he's not going to be able to make it today, and that's fine. We'll all be there tomorrow. Say hi to him then. All right. Let's work on the news. This is probably going to be a shorter stream today. Well, I mean, obviously it started late, but it'll probably also... I need to get editing done, okay? Yeah. And that's the whole thing about that's what I meant by your note. Whatever the question is, other people need to know it. Is because underneath the question, there's usually other pieces, the underlying assumptions, the reasons, the explanation, the context. And that is where a lot of the juicy bits come from, right? Excuses. Yes? Sure. Okay, so... All right. I haven't read this one, so this is going to be 100% cold reading. This is going to be great. Yeah, Rick's recovered. So, because of the system was Ouleda, he was able to extract it all out of asset safety relatively easily. Pennies for the dollar. Actually, half a penny for the dollar or whatever it was. And so they're just operating out of the 3 structures. Okay. How does this go? Late to the show. Hope it's been great. Go get a Maserati. I mean, like we've just been talking a little bit about the free for all, and I'm about to do the reading of this here new world news. Oh, let me make the Reykjavik's words go away. Otherwise, that'll confuse the hell out of some people. All right. Amar and Gallente diplomats hail progress on mutual astropolitical understanding. Pashani Genesis. The Amar Empire's royal heir Esria Corazor and the Gallente Federation's counselor Wayaka Kiara has issued a joint progress report from diplomatic talks between the 2 major empires at the ACN station in the Pashani system. Lady Corazor and Counselor Kiara both expressed considerable optimism as to the progress of the talks and the possibility of achieving mutual astropolitical understanding, as the joint communique put it. Talks between the Empire and Federation diplomats have been underway for several days in response to a major reapproachment between the Caldari State and Minmatar Republic. Empress Katniss I and President Selis Agard have both said that they have been keen to come to a swift agreement on a new policy of mutual non-intervention in their respective spheres of influence. It is widely predicted that the Empire and Federation will cease all militia war zone hostilities between their respective forces should the State and Republic conclude a treaty of non-aggression, as now seems all but a foregone conclusion to most observers. Caldari and Minmatar diplomat delegations have been exchanged in visits to the respective homes worlds as a final treaty details are negotiated ahead of formal signing ceremonies. So just to go over this a little bit, this is pretty juicy, right? This is the last lock-in piece of what we already know, which is that with the change that's coming, the alliances between the Minmatar and the Gallente and the Amar and Caldari are going to break. This does not mean that it's a 4-way war. This simply means it is 2 wars, 1v1, and now each side, both Caldari and Gallente, will view both Minmatar and Amar as neutral and will not fall under the rules of faction warfare. This means Minmatar will not be able to flex in Gallente space. This means that the Gallente can now return to Amar, although they can't get to Jita still. In fact, that means that the Gallente are going to be the only group that is locked out of Jita voluntarily, so join hardcore mode, join the Gallente. Domestic reactions differ as Federation and Empire public absorb news. Intaki, placid. Domestic critics of President Selis Agard has been swift to condemn what they see as, quote, a complete abdication of our responsibilities to interstellar civilization beyond our borders, end quote, as Senator Suvio Belleron of Kentucky Prime put it during a press release in the city of Lenoica. The Federation public appears somewhat startled by the pace of diplomatic developments, though Snap opinion polling indicates a guarded welcome for the prospect of improved relations with the Amar Empire. Pro-Agard Senator Farron Shu, visiting the Federation Navy installation in Placid Region, responded by saying, quote, Suvio Belleron always wants to intervene in someone else's business. No affair is too small or too great. The proceedings in the New Rhines City Council, or how the Yinmei organized Chandeli, the military affairs of the Amar Empire, perhaps even the expedition to the outer regions. But woe betide anyone interfering with the precious Intaki system if Suvio Belleron isn't in position to take credit somehow. End quote. In the Amar Empire, comment around the royal court and from major holders' houses more generally has been lauded of the new policy. Military hardliners and mercantile houses alike have had many of their recent concerns assuaged by the prospect of improved strategic and trade dividends. Quote, the general feeling amongst the, shall we say, more worldly Amar nobles seems to be that improved trade opportunities with the Federation and the potential to isolate the Republic strategically is worth sacrificing a military alliance that many have come to see as less valuable, end quote, said Professor Isidore Calcutta of Kali University's Department of Contemporary Amar Studies. Woo! That one's a good one, huh? That one's also spicy. These are spicy. Yes, what we've seen on Sissy with faction war is going to be the norm. That's correct. However, there is some interesting stuff in here. So this is probably the longest. Suvio Belleron and Farron Shu have been having this back and forth for literally over a decade at this point. But this is by far the longest and most like jutting comment about it. Like, you know, the Yinmei Shandeli thing was specifically where Suvio Belleron was the event that caused Suvio Belleron. Well, New Ren's city council was the guy who was executed, which caused Suvio Belleron to present the first anti-capital punishment bill. And then it was the Shandeli situation that led him to present the second anti-capital punishment bill. So she's literally calling out their previous instances where they have, come to verbal blows. At any rate, I think that this is pretty interesting, but a relatively simple answer, right? Like, okay, well, now it does lead me to wonder, is this happening because CCP decided that it was kind of too hard to lock somebody out of all of HiSec, so letting people, or like half of HiSec, I should say, and like AWOXing. There's a lot of little tiny issues that come up because of the whole militia being allied thing that goes away if the militias aren't allied anymore. Is that why they're doing it, or is this a system to allow for dynamic battles alliances, so that way perhaps there could be further realignment of sides? Because in a war, political alliances do not remain static, right? So that could be cool. News in brief. Mimitar Republic Prime Minister Tobias Ifrit attends reception at CEP Spire in Landfall City, New Caldari Prime. Caldari diplomat delegation to Mitar, led by Hasiota CEO Athonin Osman, arrives with Republic Fleet Honor Guard. Caldari Navy strongholds and Onamon system receives fresh squadron of capital ships and escorts. Garissa's pirates raid on Caldari supply base and syndicate, foiled by Antaki Space Police reinforcements. Heavy militia fighting in Aga as 24th Imperial Crusade seeks to break through the Hematar region. So, sorry, let me take a step back. These first two are a continuation of the last one, where now the Mimitar and the Caldari have come to an agreement, and they've sent diplomats from both sides to each other's home planets to finalize things. The Caldari Navy strongholds in Onamon system receives fresh squadrons of capital ships and escorts. That is involving the buildup in Onamon for the event coming up, and Onamon is their new headquarters. Garissa's pirates raid on Caldari supplied base and syndicate, foiled by Intaki Space Police reinforcements, is interesting because, like, it's one thing to know that the Intaki syndicate is allowing the Caldari state to take sovereignty within that area. It's another to know that the Intaki Space Police is actively defending the Caldari systems from these Garissas raids that started in the last event, or in the last New Eden News. Heavy militia fighting in Aga. That one, I mean, like, obviously Aga has been huge recently. Turner's system remains under Amar control as struggle with Mimitar over Yigiti constellation continues. It's more of the faction warfare stuff from the Amar Mimitar side. Federal evacuations from Ugalis as Caldari State Protectorate forces sweep through Pegalar constellation. Yeah, that, as I've said for a couple of weeks, or at least a week now, that whole pocket is collapsing. And unfortunately, that means that Ugiti will or it's not Ugiti, but Ugalis will either fall or have already fallen, but will likely fall before this event starts, which really sucks. I'm upset by that. Caldari State orders Concord and Edencom to cease war zone operations, quote, related to technology acquisition and suppression. So Caldari is mad at Concord and Edencom's Warzone operations related to technology acquisition and suppression. That's a clear echo of the whole spying row, right? Like, basically, Concord and Edencom has been caught as being used by the Amar in order to spy through their agencies on the Caldari state and their production of the the novel transportation technology. Concord anti-war clone and counter AI units carry out demolition and total purge actions ahead of fall of Ugalis. See, this is what we're talking about. They're going to burn the evidence. God bless it. All right. So basically, I have a video called the Ugali situation, and we're obviously going to have to come back to it because this is terrible as far as like us actually trying to figure any of this out. So Concord has a anti-war clone and counter the counter AI unit called Derail that was brought in there a little while ago. There seems to be something like an ancient artifact in AI that was awoken there. And the idea that and they did a bunch of arrests and there's been a lot of stuff going on and we've been looking forward to we need to know more about it. But if they're going to purge all of their stuff in ahead of the fall of Ugalis, man, that sucks. Renegade PMCs involved in smuggling vast quantities of quantum entangled 4 helium out of Placid Warzone. Out of Placid Warzone? That's interesting. So quantum entangled 4 helium is the kind of thing, that is what our fluid routers are based off of. So let's talk about some of the implications of that. A renegade paramilitary corporation smuggling vast quantities of quantum entangled 4 helium could potentially be arming a new clone soldier army if you're going to come out with a new shooter, which also leads to this whole anti-war clone and anti-AI division. And so these two things could be related. The PMC, the paramilitary corporations, could be getting all of this 4 helium in order to... okay. QE4 helium. Okay, let's take a step back then. Can I find it on the fly? Helium isotope 4. Helium 4. Okay, so when liquid helium 4 is cooled to below 2.17 Kelvin, it becomes a superfluid with properties that are very unlike those of an ordinary liquid. For example, if superfluid helium-4 is kept in an open vessel, a thin film will climb on the sides of the vessel and overflow. In this state and situation, it is called a Nolen film, blah, 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 blah. This strange behavior... in this state and situation is called Nolen film. This strange behavior is a result of the Cassius-Capillaron reaction and cannot be explained by the current model of classical mechanics nor by nuclear electrical models. It can only be understood as a quantum mechanical phenomena. The total spin of helium-4 nucleus is an integer 0, and therefore it is a boson, blah, 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 blah. What this could mean is that when you have a bunch of helium-4 and you supercool it, it becomes a liquid that all of it becomes like at a very base state. And once it gets into a base state, it actually, like, each one of them will hold the other ones down. So they actually remain like totally in sync with each other. And this is a form of quantum entanglement. So if you get some of this helium isotope 4 and you supercool it, and then you split the droplet and you put one droplet in one box and one droplet in another box, then if you do something to one droplet, it will cause a spooky action at a distance on the other droplet. There's more information about this on the universe portal on FTL communication. I'm pretty sure I did a video on it too. Boo. There, yeah, I'm reasonably sure I did a video about it, but either way. So the point is that QE4 helium is what is used by the fluid router. Each Stargate has QE4 helium in it that's quantumly entangled with each other Stargate that it is connected to. So it can send messages back and forth instantaneously to the other Stargate. And since each Stargate, and also to the Stargates within the same system. You, with your ship, you're actually not communicating to local by communicating with the Stargate itself. Because you can't communicate with the Stargate. In order to be able to communicate with the Stargate, that Stargate would have to have helium isotope 4 from the same droplet as you. So rather than that, and they don't, the empires don't trust each other. So rather than having a centralized network, it's actually a distributed network with redundancies where basically, like I said, each gate talks to each other gate and can transmit information via a fluid router. And so you send your message back to your home system. This is actually why you set a home system, because that's actually the location that your QEH4 or QE4 helium is from, right? That's the home station that your ship communicates with, most likely than not. So then you communicate with your home node, and then your home node sends through the fluid router all the way to your local node, right? That packet of information. And all of that consumes QE4 helium. This is why we pay Plex, actually. So if we go back in game and we see Plex, nope. We can see, does it say it here? No, it doesn't say it here anymore. Darn it. We had this problem last time too. So a Plex is actually a chip that is a certain quantity of QE4 helium that is designed to compensate for the additional strain of the capsuleer on the system, which is why which is why Alpha clones, so they use drifter tech. So they have a much more efficient way of transmitting information. So they've been able to allow you to do that for free. However, it uses a much simpler process, and therefore many of the advanced channels are locked out, which is why alpha clones are the way they are. Yeah, there's a lot of science in Eve, man. I've actually been meaning to do a whole series about it because there is a lot of good science in Eve, or at least good adjacent. Especially when it comes to the Triglavians. I've learned more about the Triglavians by watching like Kyrgyzstan and whatnot than by like in-game stuff. Anyway, whatever. Let's go back to what we were doing. So, oh yeah. So the other thing that this could do, by the way, guys, do you know what happens when a location runs out of 4 helium? QE4 helium? Blackout. Be careful. It could get dark out there. Clashes in Lenoe. I hate this city's name, by the way. Lenoika City on Intaki Prime as Federal Marines breach textile quarters barricades in pursuit of terrorists. So this is a kind of growing crisis occurring in Intaki, where now Lenoika is the kind of the stronghold of the resistance of the Intaki. Senator Suvio Belleron is from there. And they've shown that they are unhappy with these people, with the Federal Marines coming in. And there has been rumors of the Inibra cult and other terrorists within Gallente or on Intaki Prime. So this is probably going to get uglier before it gets better. Kenta Yavat Spaceport military storage yards shelled by smart mortar. Federal Marines APC reported destroyed. Federal Marines APC reported destroyed. That's unfortunate. So Kanata Yavat Spaceport is one of their most well-known spaceports, if I remember correctly. Nope. Yeah, it's the yeah. So this is likely the location, not that, but this is likely the spaceport that just got shelled. Okay? And that is one of those terrorist actions by those, groups, most likely than not. Pro-Federation Idama assassinated by sniper fire while working on rice fields in Lenoika Coast Monastery. There we go. That's the first one. So the Adamas are the religious leaders of the Intaki. And so, I mean, we just got told that the Nibra cult are operating on Intaki Prime. The Nibra cult are known assassins. This is probably not great that the resistances are now bombing spaceports and assassinating religious leaders that are pro-Federation. Visiting Senate delegation and Intaki Assembly Executive Council issued joint call for calm amidst Intaki Prime violence. Sure, that'll work. Extreme energy discharges detected in an atmosphere of Shabura 5 by civilian ships fleeing Sanchez Nation incursion. Interesting. I feel like this is like, I wonder if this is an advancement of technology by Sancha, because it sounds like that description. At first, I was thinking that this was going to be the Svarog, right? But we also, I mean, like, I think that the Svarog has corrupted some of the Sancha, so this tracks. Blood Raider Covenant bases in Iridia attacked by Anakanobo Brigade and Royal Ulan's mercenaries. I don't even know how to interpret that. So that's Caldari and Amar mercenaries striking against the Blood Raiders. Anakanobo Brigade. Extremely sinister name linked to an organized crime clan from Caldari Prime. The Anakanobo Brigade is regarded. Yeah. So this is, certainly, they are absolutely. Oh no. This is why we do this. What happened here? How is the Anakanobo Brigade? Here we go. Breaking report. Sources in Caldari State claim that that Khanid Royal Commodore Ares Namara has met with representatives of the Intara Direct Action and Anakanobo Brigade PMCs with a view of securing their services for counter-terrorist operations, which is how they ended up on Caldari Prime, or on Intaki Prime, rather. So hold on. Forums. If I go to my... I made a post a while ago. I need topics. Sorry, I've already assembled the information once, so here we go. So the LDPS was accused of using Arydanika munitions. Yeah, we talked about this before, but hold on. How involved were the paramilitary groups in these? Anakanobo Brigade reportedly engages in Taki militia and Kondola Revenor troops in support of LDPS. So yeah, Anakanobo Brigade was used by the Khanid to attack Intaki by proxy, and was how the Lidai came in and stole the Intaki tech to build the transcranial nanocontrollers. I have videos for all these things. I have a lore playlist. It's a long story at this point. We'll do actually. I think the lore speedrun might cover a lot of this stuff. Um. Yeah. And Angel Cartel carries out lightning raid on Faspera 5 acrological survey base, evading Amatar fleet response. Also, hold on. Royal Ulan mercenaries. Let's look those up. I assumed that they were Amar, but now it's worth looking into. Do they exist? Let's check in game. Oh my god. Yep, they are in game. Archaeological. Oh, is it archaeological? Are you serious? Fucking fuck. Look, reading it out loud helps my dyslexia most of the time. Oh, the Royal Ulans. Isn't this one of the factions that got a new logo? Yep, member of Amar. Who's this guy? Person. The Khanid. It is Khanid. So it's Khanid working with Anakanobo Brigade again against the Blood Raiders. Well, so a lot of that's so basically that is the world news for or the New Eden news for the day. On what is it? What day is it today? It is March 10th, YC 125. Definitely a lot to keep an eye on. It looks like it's going to be very, 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 very exciting very soon. So it's worth keeping an eye out there and on for further updates. And of course, you'll be able to catch them on my show when they come out. So, but on that note, that is it for this particular video. If you're watching this as a recording, if you're live, hang out. But otherwise, I've been Ashtarothi, the voice of New Eden. And I really want to thank, you know, my sponsors. My Patreon actually has been really blowing up recently, and I'm just very, very thankful of that. But I hope I get them all. But it's my top tier patrons are my biggest supporters are Abyssus, Aikawarazu Chan, Arydanika the Queen, Belligerent Neckbeard, BlackRoseNoble, Bomber's Bar, Dajat Lemmont, Drake, GuldanAgeStories, J. Kuhn, LM1, Lumi, Malak Starfire, Midnight Space Monkey, Not Just Fun, Seeds of Plenty, Nolen with No Eyes, Syliana Vel'ash, Tgen Tgen, Nephilim, Grendel, Yanti Leopoof, and Zaul Nex, as well as my immortal tier supporters, Ebolete, May, Merc Utan, and Rid. Thank you all so much. Please make sure to like and comment on the video and send it around and let us know, what do you think all of this is leading towards? But without further ado, I've been Ashtarothi, the voice of New Eden. Until next time, I'll see you in space. All right. It sucked, man. No, that embarrassed me. It's all right. I get to cut that whole thing out if I want to. It depends. If it's funny, then I'll leave it. If it's not, then it goes away. All right. Did I miss anything? I am going to hit an ad and then head over and do my PI and then probably wrap it up for the night or for the day. There's a lot to prepare for. What else is going on this weekend? Hold on a second. This happens sometimes where like I'm live, but like I had something that I knew I wanted to discuss and I didn't write it down this time. So now let me go look at let me go see if anything reminds me of something I want to talk about. Thank you, Dutch. That'll work. So on are you doing it tomorrow? What time are you doing that tomorrow, Dutch? I just realized. Or is it Sunday? Is it Sunday? No, it's Saturday, isn't it? Because that's going to be at the same time as the Frigate Free for All, right? Yeah. Okay. So halfway through the Frigate Free for All. So go ahead and get your combat in, either before or after. No, get your combat in. Is it after the Free for All? Hold up. Well, the Free for All goes from 16 to 22. So you can definitely have plenty of fun at the Free for All. And then you're already in the area to be able to hook up with Dutch Gunner in Dodixie at 2000 Eve time and go into Pochvin and get your standings fixed once and for all, or just, you know, have fun and get more standings than you had in your pursuit of 3.0. It's always pretty cool. If we get enough people, we get to do it. So if you have any questions about it, contact Dutch Gunner. He's got fits and everything like that, and a channel. But I'm going to push all of that work onto him. So tomorrow, go to the Frigate Free for All, and then bounce over to Dodixie and hook up with Dutch, and then go into Pochvin. And tomorrow will be an extremely productive day for you. All right, that sounds good. Oh wait, was there Hobo Leaks? No, we talked yesterday. Oh, there was a patch that made it so the skilling in the Abyss now counts the trig, which is nice. It is really weird that we haven't gotten any kills, like NPC kills, like just general out and about ones, like we're supposed to. We've only gotten mining in Abyss. I know that at least some of the CSM is on top of that and are not happy. Pretty sure CSM. Anyway, but besides that, all right, let's just go do my PI. See, even the lazy one is logging in tomorrow. Ugalis has fallen. Yep, that is bad. Abanal's not going to be too far behind. Ugh. We got to figure out how to hold the line, guys. Naga's at 32. That's pretty okay. Odo's all the way down. Oh, yeah. Odo, they started over, right? Oh, there's a battlefield in a boon. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the Fortizar and tether up and do my PI. So I've had these PI colonies on here for a long time, but I've also been super lazy about it. So we're going to see where they're at and hopefully use it as an opportunity to kind of talk a little bit about how PI works. I just realized I don't know if I even have enough time to do that at this point. If I want to, if I do that, I'll probably get off late, not early. All right, whatever. I still just need to do my PI. So you guys are going to be. All right, so the first things first, I'm going to grab my Epithal. Undock. Make sure I'm on tether. Now, some people like to tether up just by control spacing, and that's fine. I like to actually tether up by doing a control, holding Q and then double click to put like it a point in space. The reason why is because basically now I have an ongoing order to approach that location. So if somebody bumps me, I will continue to try to approach that area. I still want them to turn PI into SimCity. I would give it a good place to export crew to the player base as well. Yeah, I really like that last idea. Like my whole like story about Ash is about how she gets her crew now and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, I've always one of my things I've always wanted to do is make a like reimagine PI using the same stats or whatever as kind of like a I guess SimCity is a good way to look at it, actually. But somewhere between Farmville and SimCity, right? Would you really? I mean, I think that a really simple version of like Factorio would be perfectly fine. It doesn't have to be too in-depth. It just has to be enough that it lets you really feel like you're playing Factorio. Like the first 5 hours or whatever, maybe. Like the first 2 stages. Right? Just to make it so that you can set up little automated facilities. Yes, you do need to make the simple game. That is correct. That is absolutely correct. But the point is that if you do that, then you also could make something that is smartphone friendly, and now you have a way to update your PI on the phone. That's not what I want. Okay, so this planet is my barren planet. It extracts base metals and noble metals. Noble metals get transformed into precious metals. Base metals get transformed into reactive metals. And then those two things, precious metals and reactive metals, get combined here to make mechanical parts. All right? Now, in between each stage, they actually, you can see by the highlighting that I don't actually send it from one to the other. It doesn't go from here to here. It goes from here to the storage house and from the storage house to here. So that way we have a nice little buffer, right? Likewise, this one is the same way. It takes it to the storage house, and then the storage house takes it to here. Even though it goes all the way there and all the way back, it's fine. Don't worry about it. And then, what does it do? Well, this drops it off here in the spaceport, which also has its own thing. So the two advanced products, the precious metals and the reactive metals, as well as the final product, the mechanical parts, gets dumped in the spaceport. That's basically the strategy. What this does is it allows me to have the most amount of power grid available to be able to put out extractors. My goal is to hit at least 22K per cycle in both of these. So let's see what we can do. First of all, we're going to... Wait, what? No. Cancel. So I can go here and I can check out the extraction and see what the hotspots are like. So if I move to over here, I'd be a lot better off. But you know what? This might just be fine. So let's go ahead and see. We're going to give it pretty good coverage, making sure not to overlap. But you can be a little bit sloppy with it, as in like you don't have to have them directly next to each other in the same way that it's helpful to have these as short as possible and touching each other, so that way these roads take up the smallest amount of power grid. But here we go, and this gives me 28,000 units per cycle. This is perfect. This is fine. So I'm going to leave that there, and then I'm going to check on this one. Is it the same way? Well, it's at 25,000 units, and I even have things overlapping. Hold on, let's move this here. This one here. And it's okay that they don't touch because they will like extract from around them a little bit, right? So you don't want them stepping on each other too much anyways. All right. And then so that is, hold on, which ones are overlapping? Is this it? Yeah, and there it is. And that is 27. That's great. So start extraction and come over here and go, whoop. I need to grab that one from down here. Well, do I though? Yeah, I do. Bring that up here. And start extraction. Now this is a 20-hour extraction, so I could actually increase the time and not get as much, and you also get bigger extractors. But you know, I figure I might as well at least hit the buttons to do it once a day. Not that I actually get around to it, but if you do, you make at least 10 to 15 million ISK a day doing this. So here's my lava planet. Same. Although you can see here, I even got a little bit desperate. I did create these two things rather than moving them, the whole thing, partially because there was no one good place for me to put it. But let's go look at what we got right now. So I turn, what do we got? We turn toxic metals and chiral structures into, wait, hold on. Sorry. We take heavy metals and turn them into toxic metals, and we take chiral structures and turn them into non-CS crystals. And then that takes those two things and turns them into consumer electronics. So this plan is designed to create consumer electronics. Was Dust connected to PI somehow, or am I misremembering? No. They talked about maybe doing it one day, but they never did. So, okay. Yeah, so now I don't need this thing all the way down here. So let's go ahead and just destroy this. And instead, I can build a lava extractor. Now, once again, I want to put this thing as close as possible. I'm going to put it like right one. There we go. And then build the road. There we go. And hit submit. So now this guy does the heavy metals, right? And so I can see how many extractors I can get for this, okay? And then I bump it up to however many days I wanted to do it. So that's 23 hours, 15 minutes. That's great. And then I move all of them to where they need to be. And that looks like it. So then I go to this side. Whoops. And I look at this thing. And I go... So the way you can adjust your scanning is by go to the scan section and you can adjust the bottom end and you can adjust the top end. If I adjust the bottom end, then more of it is considered to be brighter. If I adjust the top end, that's like is when it gets blown out, right? So let's adjust this down all the way down real quick. So do I see any white spots right here? Do I see any white spots at all? No? No. I want to go... Okay, so there we go. This is the brightest white spot. This is a good one. So let's go look near where I am and see what the equivalent is. So this is garbage. This is garbage area. So now I have to make a choice. Do I move or do I extract for less? Now, if I go to this one again, I can see how many I was going to make. 33,000 versus this thing's 24,000. That's rough, man. That's real rough. I also kind of want to be in that orange area. Let's see what happens if we do that. We're going to destroy this. And then we're going to build a new one. Scan for non-CS crystals. I need to definitely cover this. Oof. Well, whatever. Anyway, what we'll do now is we'll actually just create a link from here to here, right? And so now this exists. And let's see how many heads I can get. The full 9. Excellent. So let's see what we can get with that. This is making me think of the PI must flow. Now remember, this PI stuff is a good idea, especially with the event coming up. The event stuff requires PI. Some of the most advanced PI in the game, actually. $28,000. 28,000 is good enough for me. All right. So now, but now that I've destroyed these and remade them, they're not routed anymore. So I go to the products page and I click on it and I go create route and then I click on this box because that's where it needs to go. And it, you know, the routes from this thing still exist. So everything else just now still works. And start. Products. Create route to the box. Create route. And submit. And that's it. Now both of my... Hey, 3-Foot Ninja, becoming a member. Thanks for that, man. Welcome, welcome, dude. It's good to see you, dude. Are you streaming on Twitch still? Imagine getting an alert that one of your nodes was getting attacked by a worm, so you had to scramble to defend it. Exactly. I love the idea of natural disasters happening that make you have to deal with something on your PI. Riveting gameplay would click again. Exactly. There you go. Perfect. All right. So these two planets are now done. So what's next? Well, I'm going to actually push up. I click on the launch pad. And then I click on launch, and that brings up this menu. So on the left side is the orbital customs office. On the right side is the launch pad. So I can just drag it from one to the other. It'll cost me $500,000 given the tax rate here. I hit transfer. And then likewise, I come over here and click on that and bring both of these up. And I'll show you why in a second. So now those are both in space, right? Now here is my factory planet. This takes everything from the previous 2 planets and makes the final piece. So here we go. Check it out. This down here, this southern part, is the consumer electronics. So this is my lava planet down here. It's got a bunch of the extra basic factories and a bunch of the secondary factory productions. So it's just designed to create. Basically, I can take anything from the lava planet and drop it onto this spaceport, and it will automatically just start cranking through it, right? Likewise, on this one, this is my barren planet. So all I have to do is bring stuff down here, and it'll start cranking through it, all right? No, I actually got my job back at the restaurant I've been working. Oh, well, that's good. It's my first time on a YouTube stream, actually. Nice. Welcome, welcome. Also, I found it ironic because I wrote an Eve rap about Rick Javix, and the title just popped up in my recommended video. Well, I mean, he's been on people's minds. So then I also... Oh, yeah, I can see... Now, here's a secret. I actually keep a lot of my stuff in the customs office. So, let's see. What do I need? I need the base metals. Base metals becomes reactive metals, and noble metals become precious metals. So I can actually take these base metals, and put them here, and these noble metals, and put them over here. It's not going to get them all, but if I transfer this, we should see... Yep. Now all of these factories are now spinning and not flashing like the rest of these, right? Likewise, we can come over here, open up the spaceport, and go, well, you need non-CS crystals. That's already too many. Oh, gosh, I have a lot. All right, and transfer, and then boom. So this isn't going to be all of the factories because only the CS crystals are going to, but as these chiral structures are turned into CS crystals, it will drop into these advanced factories, which will then drop it into this box, which is then fed into these 2 advanced industry factories, which then spit out robotics. And that's where the majority of that's, the big one. So now I've gotten my 3 planets done. Let's make a go for it, okay? So I have my PI hauler. I'm going to prepare this by having this open and this open, okay? I want my PI box and the planetary industry window open, right? So now what I can do is I can actually wait until everybody leaves the system. But I can right-click Customs Office, access Customs Office. So now I can have the Customs Office already open before I even warp, okay? Yeah, I'm definitely going to let the squids pass on through. But now I have this ready to go. So as soon as I land, I can just transfer this into here and keep on moving. Yes, it is in Fleet. That's right. So, how's it going, guys? What should we talk about while we wait? Uh-oh. Nothing but us AFK epithals over here. Carry on. So keep my stars in a pacifier. This just is looking increasingly dangerous. No. Yeah, I should change the name of the stream. Hold on. He ended up having to cancel. Okay. Are they often camping your system? No, but this is a major pipe system. So people will move through. I'm glad we can route PI through up to 4 structures. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, I like to build those chains. Imperial maybe. Okay. All right, let's go for it, okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to warp to the first customs office. Now I'm going to select these as I warp. And I'm going to drag this into here. Not this one, planetary commodity. Drag them into here. Hopefully don't get killed. Nope, I die. Maybe? Oh. No? They pretty much had me dead to rights. I'm not sure why I'm still alive right now. Yeah, there's a lot of different names around here, even though there's several of the same people. Always a line work. Well, I mean, I was so shocked that I didn't know. Well, I had to change my plan. That's the problem. All right. Next. I did transfer stuff. Yeah, it was a pickup. All right. Yes, I know that. But my point was is I decided to change where I was going, which made it so that I was like my priority stack in that exact moment was different because it suddenly became a lot fiddlier for me where I was actually going to end up going. If you have regular stream days, could you post on the YouTube channel info? Always miss the start of streams. Yes, I should definitely do that. Thank you for the reminder. I know, I just did it again. Fuck it. Where is it? No, because I can transfer it before. There we go. There we go. No, I don't think so. How much M3 is this? Is this gonna all fit? Yeah, it is. So the key here is I want to transfer everything the second I come out of warp. So I'm watching my speed, and the second it stops saying warping, and it starts showing me a speed, I'm going to drop it, align, grab the expensive stuff, warp, and I'm out. And then I can just go here and be like, okay, well, base metals, noble metals. So, well, that one's already pretty much full. Go here. That one's already pretty much full. So tomorrow I'll have to, or like in a little while, I'll have to cycle some more over. That was it. That's it. That's my daily update on robotics. Although, you know, you can see here that I've kind of not done it every day. But yeah, you can get quite a bit. And basically all of the P3 material is the same way in that regard. One of my goals is to record myself doing PI in multiple different times and then put them all together into one little thing, because it's like I'm not going to go over everything in PI in a single time. Or maybe I will someday, but not today. In the meantime, I've been Ashrothi. I've been playing this game since 2010, talking about it since 2012, and I'm here to put even the context for you, my fellow Empyreans. By the way, my regular stream days are Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. Tuesday at wait, hold on, timeout. Let's see, 1800, and Thursday and Friday at 1900. Thanks, Tabat. I hope it at least lets you either keep in touch or maybe even entices you to try it out again. Who knows? We need as many players as we can. The Federation needs you. Come join and fight for freedom. All right. You're contexted. You're satisfied? You in context? All right. Well, if you do need to get an EVE code, I do have a link there that will give you a random code from one of several people that are very, within our staff of the Convocation Empyrean. So that way we can share the wealth a little bit. You get 1 million free SP in the process, and you can use this on an account that if you're an older character, you still can get 1 million free SP by using this code. If you've never used a code before on your account, on that particular account, you can use it now. It's retroactive. So cool. Also, if you want to come help us out, you can join the Convocation of Empyreans. I recommend actually joining our Discord and then just flagging yourself as interested in YouTube. So that way you get posts of all my updates and videos and live streams and all that stuff there too. That's the best way to probably get your notifications. And of course, if you are a supporter, please let's figure out how to set you up to be able to have you be in the supporter channel, because I've started to talk to the supporters more and more to get feedback and ideas and all that kind of stuff. So yeah. And then I'll be on Discord for a lot of today too, and hanging out this weekend. Make sure to go to the Frigate Free for All. Make sure to go to Dutch Gunner's Standing Fleet. And next week, I'm so tired of saying this, but we'll just try it one more time. Next week, I hope the Shadow War begins, and we'll all have a lot of fun. I mean, obviously, with today's World New or New Eden news, it's clear why this is this is a slow build up, and that's fine. It's good. I think that we're getting really close to that realignment to make this possible, because you got to remember that we still have to go from where we are in the New Eden news today to the Shadow War in, a little bit of time. So we'll have to see how that plays out. Anywho, I've been Ashtarothi, the voice of New Eden. Hold on. Did I have anything else? Play my game, Playton. Hey, Drake Hamilton. 07. And of course, thank you to my patrons. I read you out earlier, and all my other supporters. If you want to join them, go ahead and hop in there. I think that's about it. So, until next time, until next time, I'll see you in space, hopefully tomorrow. 07. There we go. That's what I wanted to say. Oh, Ader is recruiting. Heck yeah. Like the video. Comment. Like the video for the guinea pigs.
Bring on the wrecking machine. Ooh. city